Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. This is Hadrian. It is February 4th, 2016. Let's look ahead and talk about what's coming soon for the channel. If you have never seen one of these videos before, if you're newer to the channel, or if you just haven't watched it, I like to do these around the beginning of every month just to give everyone a bit of an update on what's going on with the current series and what's going to follow them so that you know what's happening. And I have a few big announcements to make in this particular look ahead, so please stay tuned for that. I want to start with some acknowledgements, as usual. The very first group that I would like to acknowledge, and this is a group, and it's a big group, is my subscribers. I mention them usually at the beginning of these videos, and probably I will continue to do so, but I have some particular love to share this month just because of all the great comments that Against All Odds has received and all the great interaction that I've had with everyone, whether they've been watching Crown of Charlemagne, Against All Odds, Planet Base. Like, the interactions just continue to get better and better every month. And not only do you guys make this a lot more fun and fulfilling and rewarding for me, which I appreciate and I thank you for, but also, you might not realize this, but you're really helping to set the tone for the community that I want going forward. I've mentioned in previous videos that I want this channel to be kind of a haven from all the negativity that is out there in, for instance, the Total War community, that is out there in the internet in general. You know, just, you guys are awesome, you're consistent, you're supportive, you're engaged, you give constructive criticism, but you're kind. Like, it's a very unique mix of people so far, and it's great to see you guys just on the channel every day. I'm very grateful for you, and I just want you to know that. The next group I would like to thank is a development studio, and that would be Creative Assembly, the makers of Total War. I also want to give a quick shout out to Darren from Creative Assembly, who is also a accomplished Total War YouTuber in his own right. Darren is a community administrator at Creative Assembly, and he helped me get the Total War video content that I've had on my channel, including Roman Ascension, turned on so that I can actually have ads on it. And I know the ads can be a little bit annoying for folks, and some of you might use ad block, but this is something I primarily do as a hobby, but be able to make a little bit of extra money on the side is a good thing. And the majority of my content for a long time was not monetizable because you need permission from Creative Assembly to monetize Total War content. I would have continued to make Total War content till the sunset. Like, that's just something that I really enjoy. It's one of my favorite games, and I want to get better and better at it and make better and better series. But the fact that I can monetize it just makes it that much easier for me to have peace of mind and continue to make Total War content. So thank you to Darren, and thank you to Creative Assembly. And the very last acknowledgement I would like to make is a bit of an announcement for a fellow channel. A couple of announcements, actually. My buddy Rusty, Rusted Ground, link to the channel is on the screen or on the right-hand side of my channel if you want to look at it that way. First of all, he just passed 100 subs. He's had the biggest subscriber surge I've ever seen in a young YouTube channel, at least one that I've been keeping track of, and he deserves huge congratulations for that. Happy for you, buddy. What he's doing, and the reason he's having this surge, XCOM fans, listen up. He's having an XCOM 2 giveaway. He's giving away a copy of the game. Over 100 people probably have already signed up. There were over 80 last time I talked to him, so I'm guessing over 100 now. Also, he's doing something really cool that I've never heard of before. As you guys may know, you can do custom characters in XCOM campaigns. You can set up their names, their appearance, their gender, their class, and he is soliciting his channel viewers for character applications where you submit all of that information and also a character bio. So there's actually a bit of a character that you design, and he's going to actually use the custom characters submitted from his Let's Play, or from his channel viewers, in his Let's Play, which is just amazing. I've never heard of anything like that before, and I'm really looking forward to watching it. So check it out. I wanted to make sure he got a shout out for that because it's just cool. But anyway, I want to talk now about the status of the current series, and the very first thing I would like to say is I have an announcement regarding a certain series that is ending later today. Against All Odds will air its final episode at 6 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. That's GMT -5, so for those of you on Greenwich Mean Time, that's 11 p.m. I just had a commenter, thank you so much, Nixie, point out that I missed a prepper cache. This isn't the announcement, I'm just randomly saying this. I missed a prepper cache in the second to the last episode. I totally did. I was so excited to see the entrance to Timberwolf Mountain that I completely missed something that could have helped me save the series. Oh well. Which leads me into my second announcement. This is actually something I made up my mind on like over a week ago. As many of you know, Against All Odds has been a fun series for me. It's also been popular for the channel. I mean, if you've been any measure of observant, you notice it has more likes than my average videos, it has more comments, it has more views. A lot of people are watching it. So, given that I've had so much fun with it, and given that you've had so much fun with it, I have made the decision to make Against All Odds a seasonal series, which is to say that later this year, I will do another Let's Play of The Long Dark called Against All Odds. We'll call it Season 2. I will play it with a slightly different approach because we've explored most of the world, unless of course they add another zone between here and there, which is entirely possible. And I will essentially play it from more of a expert's informed opinion. So it'll be kind of a Long Dark player's Long Dark series. I'll still play on Stalker, of course, and we'll play all of the areas as if we'd been there before, almost as if we were playing as Jennifer Hale's ghost. That's the plan. Also, speaking of Against All Odds, remember that the AMA went out when the last episode was recorded. So if you haven't seen the AMA video at the end of the playlist, that is, again, something that I do. It's called a look back, just like this is a look ahead. And it's just a way for all of us as a channel, me as the channel runner and you guys as the audience, to reflect on a series and talk about it. What did we like about it? What do we not like about it? What do you want to see again, etc.? That kind of stuff. It's a good way for you to ask me questions or just leave comments or critiques or whatever you want to say. So go to the AMA video or go to my Twitter, whatever. Just shoot me a question and I'll try to include it in the AMA. I'm pretty easy to reach. You can reach me on Twitter, you can reach me on here, you can reach me on Reddit, you can reach me on Facebook. Yeah, it's there. Next, I want to talk very briefly about Crown of Charlemagne. Crown of Charlemagne is going well. I would probably say that Crown of Charlemagne is about 20 or 30 episodes from completion. I have already achieved Tier 2 victory. That's 2 of 3 tiers. So Tier 1 was several episodes back. Tier 2 was, I think, within the past 2 weeks, if not this week. And I want to shoot for Tier 3, probably, and then end the series. Also, I would like to fully control, like, Italy, because we are the Holy Roman Empire in Crown of Charlemagne. But that series is going well. It's been kind of a bumpy ride, because I definitely didn't realize how corruption worked in the game until like 50 episodes in, which is embarrassing. But that's how that series is going. If you have any questions or comments about that, feel free to leave them. And that applies to any of this stuff, by the way. You guys know I love talking to you. And of course, the very last thing I want to talk about, since it's starting tomorrow, it's not quite a current series yet, but Out of Ashes in This War of Mine begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the Long Dark's time slot. I'll say more about the game tomorrow in the series introduction, so stay tuned for that. If you want to learn more about it, just look up This War of Mine on Google or on Steam. It's a fantastic game that tells the story of a war, but from the civilian side. So it's a war game, but not like one you've ever played before. And it's got a similar kind of survival feeling to the Long Dark, but the interesting thing is that it has a definite endpoint. It is actually possible to win the game, as opposed to just playing as long as you can survive. It may well happen that we all die, which will be sad. The game is very emotionally gripping. You get attached to your characters. I mean, maybe some people more than others, but the game is definitely designed to make you feel for the people that you're playing with. So, this War of Mine, yeah, as you might have just guessed, there's multiple characters instead of just one. So, yeah, that series is going to start on Friday, and that'll be at 6 p.m. Out of Ashes. Stay tuned. Next, I want to talk about potential next series, and this is something I'm going to kind of fly through, because I have already talked about this in a previous look ahead, and nothing much has changed. I've just really kind of cemented my plans. The series that follows Crown of Charlemagne will be a Civilization V series. One thing I definitely want to say, for those of you who have never played Civilization V, who want to learn more about it, I actually am planning to make this my first foray into a hybrid tutorial series. I say hybrid because I will definitely play an entire campaign until victory in Civilization V. But the first several episodes, I will actually explain key concepts, I'll explain the interface, I'll explain the different buildings, I'll explain the units, I'll explain how religion works, how wealth works, how research works, how culture works, all these things that build up over every turn, so that you can have more of an idea of how to play the game. So we'll play the vanilla game, no mods or anything, just what it looks like. We'll play with all the expansions, basically everything you can play with if you buy Civilization V complete, and I'm really excited about that, so stay tuned for that, starting after Crown of Charlemagne. I would imagine that'll start within a month, 2 at the most. that's that. And then, of course, I've mentioned before that I'm going to do a follow-up to to Civilization 5 in Total War Attila, and that's going to be a fun one. Stay tuned for that. I'm calling that the Eternal Empire series, and it's going to be my best Total War yet. I cannot wait. The extent to which I cannot wait is illustrated on the subreddit, because as some of you know, I have already put out the thumbnail for it. Like, I've been working on the art for the series after the current one that's following Crown of Charlemagne. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I'm excited. I've been planning that series for a while, but I do want to take a break from Total War before I do it so I can do a really good job. Next series in the 6 p.m. slot, in the off-genre slot, as I like to call it. Sci-fi, survival, suspense. What's the other S word? Sci-fi simulation. Yeah, that. I'm going to follow this war of mine when it ends with a series in Subnautica, which Long Dark fans, again, stay tuned for that. I know I sound like I'm just trying to keep you guys hooked in since the Long Dark series is ending, but if you've never played Subnautica, you'll want to pay attention to this one. It's not quite like the Long Dark in that permadeath is an option, not a requirement. I will probably still be playing with permadeath just to make it interesting. You also don't have to sleep in the game, so there's a lot less of a sense of the days passing. There's definitely a day-night cycle, but what we're going to just have to do is pay attention to how many days and nights pass. So we just kind of know between us, because the game doesn't give you an indicator how much time has passed, and it really should, but between us, at least, but you guys watching the series and me recording it, we'll know how many days have passed. And I think what I'm going to try and do with that series is survive a set amount of time in the game, because it's not as punishing a survival game as the Long Dark. So if you play well and you don't get eaten, it is really the kind of game that can go on forever. So that being said, I will probably set a definite endpoint, so stay tuned for that. After that, both of my slots I'm completely planned out with what I want to do. Planet Base, I'm definitely going to return to that. My first series in Planet Base. Planet Base was Series 2 for my channel, but it didn't go well. And I've since done some playtesting, and I figured out what I did wrong, and I would like to go back to Planet Base and get a colony to 100 citizens at least, and just have a better series. There have been a lot of people who have enjoyed that series, even though it didn't go well, and that really kind of spoke to me and said, hey, I should probably do that. If they're watching me play Planet Base when I'm failing miserably, maybe they'll watch me when I'm when I'm actually doing well. So there's that, and of course I've mentioned in the 6 p.m. series, 6 p.m. slot, I would be looking at City Skylines Banished Universe, and there's a new City Skylines expansion coming out too, which is pretty cool. So I will probably be playing that this year at some point in the 6 p.m. slot. So look out for that. That'll be a bit of a different vibe from what I've done on the channel so far. City Builder. That'll be fun. So that's it for potential next series. If you have any questions about any of that, leave them in the comments below. Again, I love to hear from you guys, and I don't mind answering questions. The last thing I want to talk about is future plans and channel goals. I mentioned in the previous look ahead that I want to do a tutorial series for... I said that just like a rumba. I mean, the guy inspired me to start this channel with the tutorial series in Crusader Kings 2, so I feel like I'd be coming full circle and doing a nice tip of the hat to him if I did a tutorial series in, say, Total War. A lot of people have said to me, hey, you seem to be really good at managing the campaign. I don't think I'm the best Total War player in the world by a long shot, but I think I know enough to teach people if I put some effort into a very high quality tutorial series. I'm going to set the bar for myself because I want it to be a good series, and I'll probably start with Rome 2 and then go to Attila, or maybe the other way around, who knows. I feel like most people who are getting into modern Total War start with Rome 2 and then go to Attila, because Rome 2 is just cheaper. So I might be doing just a tutorial series where I go over how to manage your buildings, how to manage your armies, how to manage your politics, stuff like that. But I might also still play through a brief campaign, not as long as Roman Ascension, but we'll see what people want. And beyond that, engagement continues to be a key priority for me on the channel. Help is appreciated with that. What I mean by engagement is just outreach. It's engaging with the communities of the games that I play, reaching out to the people that play the Long Dark, reaching out to people that play this war of mine, Total War. And one thing I'll say about that, as far as helping out, if you would like to, and I've kind of mentioned this in the channel and community mini-series, which I'll come back to in a moment. On Reddit, there are certain boards that I post to on a daily basis that are totally cool with self-promotion. That being said, Reddit has, in its standard Reddit and just rules of operation, and on most boards that don't have custom rules, it actually has a rule against self-promotion. And because of that rule, there is a stigma across Reddit, even where self-promotion is allowed, against people that are self-promoting. It can be tough to post your own stuff even when you're allowed to. So one way to really help, if you're enjoying a particular series and you want to put it out there, go to a subreddit like R Gaming. R Gaming is particularly good, or R Total War, R The Long Dark, whatever you might want to go to. Just share. I mean, it doesn't matter where you share it. R Gaming obviously has higher impact, but when you are sharing the series rather than me, it makes a big difference, because then no one gets mad at me. No, I mean, it sounds like I'm complaining, but I mean, I'm quite serious. People get frustrated on Reddit when you self-promote. So when it's an other promote instead of a self-promote, it's a lot better. So that's one way you can help. If you want to learn other ways that you can help, or just ways that you can get more out of the channel, because I understand not all of you are here because you have like an investment in like going beyond sitting here on YouTube and watching some videos and then doing something else with your life. Totally get it. But if you want to get more out of the channel experience that way, or if you do actually want to do some stuff to help out, check out the channel and community mini-series that I'm working on. I just put up an info card link on your screen so you can check it out, and it'll give you some more information about how to help out. I mean, I think it's helpful, and I'll update it from time to time. I had one guy tell me within like a day of posting the first one that he learned some stuff about YouTube and Reddit that he didn't even know. So anyway, check that out if you would like. So the last thing I want to talk about is a lot of people are starting to ask that fundamental question: where do you want to take this channel? Where do you see the channel going? Now, I've answered this question before, and those of you who have watched the previous look-aheads, you can skip this part if you want to. But here's the thing. Number one, I think the answer is always going to be evolving somewhat. And number two, there's always going to be new subscribers that haven't heard my answer to the question before. Or maybe I need to clarify it for people that are here now. Because you're looking at the channel, you're going, okay, cool, you've got this many subscribers. Now you're doing these kinds of videos. What are you going to be doing 6 months from now? Well, first of all, that's why I do these videos, to kind of keep you updated on what's coming up around the corner. But the main answer to your question, here it is. I have actually put a pretty good amount of effort, as most of you know, into actualizing the channel as I want it right out of the gate. What I mean by that is I've went ahead and made the subreddit. I went ahead and made the Twitter account. I went ahead and made the Steam community. Even though a lot of people would say, dude, you've only got like this many subscribers. Like, why do you have a subreddit? I'm busy. I have a lot of stuff to do. I do this as a hobby, and what I wanted to do was go ahead and put a lot of the moving pieces in place so that people can just start to fill them out over time. That includes the channel schedule, that includes the subreddit. So what you see is actually very much what I want the channel to be. It's already there. What is not there yet are all the little tiny improvements that will occur over time as I just get better at this, and as you guys grow and continue to evolve as a community. So really where I want to take the channel, the best answer that I can give to that, aside from saying, hey, look what's already here, because that feels like a bit of a cop-out. Like, I'm already done. This is the channel. This is what you get. I think the answer is the community. Where I want to see the channel go, and I mentioned this earlier in this video, in the look ahead. Where I want to see the channel go is I want this to be a safe place. And I want to be very careful. I'm not talking about a politically correct safe zone, but there is so much just needless trolling and hatred and negativity and stupidity all over the internet. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to be one place where it's just not allowed. And the thing is, nobody is paying me to watch this channel. This is not a subscription-based service, so I have no obligation to anyone on this channel. Now, if you come on this channel and you are supportive and you subscribe and you are, commenting on the series, you're liking the series, you're being a part of the community, of course I have an obligation to you, because you are one of the people that I do this for. But if you come onto the channel and you just bring the negativity from you with the rest of the internet, I have no obligation to you whatsoever. So I can just block your comments and we're all done with you immediately. I don't have to do due process. I don't have to warn you. I don't have to do any of that. So I'm going to be very strict going forward on setting the tone for the community, which is why I started out the video the way I did, thanking you guys for being as great as you are, because you're making it pretty effortless so far. Everyone that's come in, knock on wood, now that I've said this, the trolls are going to come out of the woodwork. But as I've started to run the channel, all the people coming in, with very few exceptions, have been extremely supportive and nice. So we're going to continue that standard going forward. That's really what I envision for the channel as far as community growth. If you have any more questions about that, you want to know more, feel free to just chime in the comments below. Like I've said a couple times throughout this video, I'm very happy to talk to any of you, especially on these videos, because this is the place, this is the space for us to really talk about the channel and how things are going every month. So anyway, just a recap. Against All Odds ends today. Don't forget about the AMA if you want to ask questions. It will be a seasonal series, so stay tuned for Season 2 of Against All Odds. I can't wait to do it. It will be later this year after I've done some other series in the 6 p.m. slot. It will probably be Q3, I would say, maybe early Q4. So it's going to be a while, guys, but I'm definitely going to do it seasonally every year around the same time. What else? Oh yeah, tutorial series in Civilization 5. Stay tuned for that, and just tutorial series in general is something I'm going to do with a couple of series going forward. So just those of you who enjoy my Let's Play style, I'll be able to teach you a little bit about how to play the games in that same style on that same branding. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, like I said, leave them below. I'm happy to hear from you, and I will see you guys next video.